Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our second pet webinar veterinarian series part 1. I'm Heather Su, your host for this evening. As we progress into the session, any questions you have, please type them out in the comment section and we will answer them after the speaker's presentations. Today, joining me is Dr. Ji Liu, co-founder of Vetamine's Pet Care and veterinarian by profession. She will be speaking about pet supplements, myths, and what's good and bad. Also joining us today is Mr. Ang Eung Kyong, founder of Coco and Joe Barf Pet Raw Food. He is a certified raw food nutritionist, a medical technologist from the American Society of Clinical Pathology, and an MKA judge. Today, he speaks about the beauty of raw feeding. And lastly, we have Dr. Lee YY, founder of Pet Medic Malaysia and Dog Trainer by Specialist. She will share and inform us about pet heat strokes and what we need to know. Welcome, everyone, to Pet Webinar. How is everyone doing today?
Good.
Okay, great. Okay, just before we start, let me get rid of something. So 30 of our special registrations on the day of post will be receiving a specific promo code for a free 2-day basic dog examination course sponsored by Pet Medic Malaysia. These 30 viewers will be notified via email immediately after this webinar. Dear viewers, thank you for joining us so much this evening. Before we start, over the course of this webinar, we have a lucky draw. 20 lucky viewers will enjoy a specially sponsored gift by Coco and Joe, 2 kg bath meals for either dog or cat. So when you see your name on the bottom of our little screen, take a screenshot and email it to famsbwebinar@gmail.com along with your delivery details and whether you prefer dog or cat food. Without further ado, starting us off this evening in regards to pet supplements, Dr. Ji Liu. Doctor?
So thank you very much, Heather, for the warm introduction. So hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for spending your time with us on this Friday evening. So my name is Ji Liu. So I'm the co-founder and the veterinarian of Vetamine. So I'm also a pet owner of 5 doggies at home. So 3 of them are actually senior citizens. I have been looking for great qualities, pet health products, and safe to use products for our pets. And as a veterinarian, I always receive comments like, why are the veterinary bills are so expensive? Why are the pet health products are so overpriced in the pet market? So to cater or to solve this problem, we actually decided to start up this Vetamine in order to provide great quality certified veterinary recommended pet supplements and pet health products to our pet community. At the same time, educate them to think like a veterinarian, just like the name Vetamine, vet and mind comes from. So we hope to see our pet owners, they are aware and educated to what are they feeding to their cats and dogs. So just like our slogans, we are more than just vitamins. So we provide professional consultation in order for you to choose for the best product for your pets. So you can also visit our website at vetamine.com. So we are also very active in Facebook and Instagram. The username is Vetamine Pet Care. So first of all, there are many pet owners, they are always asked about this question, is my pet healthy? Many of the pet owners, they did not know how, to assess their pet, whether they are healthy, they're happy or not. So today we are going to discuss about how to check on your pets daily. So we have compiled this checklist. So this checklist comprises of 6 parameters. So the first 3 parameters is ABU, ABU. So the first one is appetite, bowel, and urination. You may want to jot down this in your notepad or maybe screenshot on this piece of note when you needed it. So the first one is appetite. So appetite can be defined as the desire of your pet, whether how long does it take for them to eat the food. So inappetite or reduced in appetite can be due to various reasons such as stomach upset, infection that causing fever, dental disease, which this is the most commonly neglected factor in pet owners. They didn't notice about this problem, in which it will affect the pets to chew the food. So it will directly affect the appetite of the pets. And also the stress, anxiety, behavioral problems like pickiness, especially in poodles, right? They are always very picky, very choosy in their food. So for your information, many healthy pets, they will only take 60 to 70% of the amount stated on the packaging. So the moment when your pet is refusing to finish all the food given based on the feeding guidelines, it's okay. So just let them be. And yeah, this is the information that you might need to know. So the next one is the bowel. So bowel is a very important indicator or parameter that a pet owner should take note on this. So bowel means that it is the alimentary tract below the stomach. So it indicates the health of the digestion. So the most important indicator that we use in looking at the digestive tract is the stools, the feces, the poo-poo. Yeah. So from the stools, we can actually see how healthy is the pet's digestive system. So the bowel health is actually affected to the types of food given, dietary changes, infection, food poisoning, or even stress, in anxiety, change of environment, habit, and etc. So it is very important for the pet owners to always observe what is normal to know what is abnormal. So next will be the urination. Urination is slightly complicated as compared to the bowel, because the urination patterns is very important. So a responsible pet owner should always look for the usual frequency. How often do they pee or spend time in the litter box for cats. The color, whether it's pale yellow is normal, or it's dark yellow, or maybe transparent, which is abnormal. So yeah, it's very important. Consistency, whether there's any presence of abnormal such as blood and so on. And the process of urination, this is especially important in cats, because you need to always monitor the process of urination, whether they are straining or having difficulty while urinating, because cats are very prone to the FLUTD, feline lower urinary tract disease. So the next three parameters are TAM. So just now we have mentioned ABU, appetite, bowel, and the urination. So now we will proceed to TAM. The first one is temperature. So have you ever wondered how to take the temperature of your pets? So the best thing is you need to prepare or stand by a thermometer, a digital thermometer at home, in order for you to take the temperature. So as you can see from this photo, the cat is placed on the lateral position, meaning on its side, to prevent them from sitting on the thermometer when you are taking the temperature. So you may also coat the temperature probe with some petroleum jelly or baby oil to as a lubricant before inserting into the anus. And a body temperature of below 37 degrees Celsius and above 40 degrees Celsius requires immediate veterinary attention. So what you need to remember is the normal range of the temperature, which is 38.3 to 39.2 degrees Celsius. So for activity level, this is more applicable for dogs, because dogs are usually more active than cats. So as a general rule of thumb, minimum 30 minutes of exercise every day is needed by a dog. And for larger breed dog, they will need more exercise. as compared to smaller toy breed dogs that don't require much daily physical activity. So for this parameter, it's always important for the pet owners to know what is normal, to know what is abnormal in your pets. So you might need to spend more time observing what is your pet doing at home or outdoors. So last but not least, the mental state. So this is the a very frequently used parameters by the veterinarians at the veterinary hospitals and clinics, in which we are looking at their mentation or alertness of the pets. So there are three states that we can see from the slides. The first one is BAR, bright, alert, responsive. The second one is quiet, alert, responsive. So BAR, bar, and this QAR is normal. While if you notice that your dog or your cat is avoiding eye interaction or not playing with you, or when you offer treats to them, they just don't want to respond, then you might suspect it is dull and depressed. So a very severe mental state, which is DD, that requires veterinary attention, that a pet owner should know about this. So to summarize this, this Abu Thumb is the most important 6 parameters that the parameters that as a pet owners you should know about this. So maybe you should screenshot the slide for your reference. So next we proceed to what is nutraceuticals, or commonly we call it as supplements. So what is nutraceuticals? Does your pet need nutraceuticals or pet supplements? So according to Dr. Stephen DeFellis, he coined these two terms, nutrient and pharmaceuticals, and formed this new term, nutraceuticals. So how can your pets benefit from nutraceuticals? So generally, nutraceuticals has this broad spectrum of effects: immune regulation, chronic diseases prevention, normal organs function support, enhancement of metabolic processes, postponing the aging process. For example, the content of the antioxidant in the food that reduce the oxidative damages in the pet's body, and to improve general well-being of the pets. So how to choose a good pet supplement? So this is the most favorited asked question in our pet community, on how to really choose a good pet supplements, a great product, a great quality certified products for our pets. So there are mainly 2 points that I think I couldn't stress more. The first one is clear and detailed labels. So as a responsible owner, you must take note on the ingredients, how to use, dosage of the products, the instructions, as well as the manufacturer information. You can even request laboratory analysis, the certification from the manufacturer, in order to know more about this product. And one big point, one big tip about this is to avoid choosing products with over claim statement. By saying over claim statement, meaning when you see a product that claim that okay, after taking this supplement in 3 days you see your dog fur will be like growing like, yeah, super nicely, or what, like this kind of super, over claim statement that you should avoid. Because if a product is a registered or regulated product by the authority, it must not contain this kind of information. So yeah, you might need to take note about this. So the next thing, as a pet owners like myself, we are always very afraid of peeling or feeding the tablets, the supplements to our cats or dogs. So I think the most important point for this pet supplements is it must be easy to feed, in order to ease the work of the pet owners. So a good pet supplement should be designed for easier feeding, with natural flavors, readily accepted, and can be added into the daily meals, especially for sick or elder pets that we would not want to cause extra stress in feeding feeding supplements to your pets. So where should you obtain pet nutraceuticals or supplements? So we are aware that a prescription is not needed for most nutraceutical supplements. However, it is always advised to consult a veterinarian before purchasing. So why do we need a veterinarian, or we need to consult a veterinarian, or maybe you can consult Vetamine, a veterinary team, on before purchasing a pet supplement? Because we know that we are aware that there are many pet products available in the market are not regulated, as well as the quality of the nutraceuticals may vary greatly from one manufacturer to another. And with the veterinary help, I mean, a veterinarian is able to integrate the nutraceuticals into the treatment regime. So I think we have finished our webinar for now. Um, Sorry. Okay. So we are going to have a giveaway, but sorry. Okay, so we are going to have a giveaway. So the present is More Immune, which is the daily immune booster for cats and dogs. So we are going to have true or false questions for our audience to answer. So if you know the answer, just type in your answers in the comment section in order to win. So the fastest participants that get the correct answer will get a bottle of this More Immune supplements. So are you ready? So we are going to start our Q&A, the true or false session. So the first question: supplements are able to treat various diseases, including infections. Is it true or false? Okay,
Oh,
so
our viewer
okay,
Jess J has joined us, and he says, "Oh, and okay." So, it's true or
okay,
false? Sharon IR says true.
okay. Any more answers?
Eli says false.
Okay. For those who have answered the
And
question,
says false. Reading out a few.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, so the answer is false. So supplements can be used with veterinary treatments. It can't be used solely as a treatment to treat diseases. Okay, so I've mentioned this earlier. So supplements can improve the pet's health condition and support body functions for a faster recovery. Okay, so the next question is, my dog is having a body temperature of 39 degrees Celsius. I can feel her body is so much warmer than mine. So I conclude that she is having a fever. Is it true or false?
False by IVM.
Okay, any more answers from the audience?
Ahmad Haziq says false. Everybody saying false. Sun YL says true.
Oh. Okay, the answer is false. So why is it so? Just what I have mentioned earlier, the normal range of the pet's body temperature is 38.3 to 39.2 degrees Celsius. So a body temperature which is always higher than us as human beings. So it is normal for you to feel that they're actually warmer than us, but they are not having fever. Okay, so a body temperature of 40 degree and above requires veterinary attention. So the last question: it is advisable to purchase pet supplements manufactured by GMP certified factories. So is it true or false?
En Yuan says false. Bex Cham says false.
Think again.
Ahmad Hafiz says true.
Yay. Okay. So the answer is true.
You just gave the answer.
So congratulations to all the winners, and thanks for paying attention in my presentation. So if you have any questions or you need any professional veterinary consultation on the pet care products or even anything about pet health, you can scan this QR code to ask us more, and we are more than happy to help you to answer the questions or you have any queries to ask us. And you can also visit us at vetamine.com, and we are also very active in our Facebook and Instagram at Vetamine Pet Care. So and also would like to thank the organizer for inviting me as a speaker for tonight. So yeah, thank you everyone. So have a good night. Yeah,
Thanks,
we have
Dr.
next speaker. Sorry.
Okay,
Thank you.
since we're doing this, I might as well be asking the question so that you can get that over with as well.
Okay.
While you were speaking, Ivy Ng asked, do pet food also have heaty and non-heaty?
Heaty meaning Heaty.
Yeah, like a hot, like to the body heaty.
Okay. I think this term heaty is more towards traditional Chinese medicine that they usually use this term heaty or not. In my opinion, I'm not so sure about this term whether it's heaty or not. But I think a vet that or I mean, a doctor in Chinese medicine would answer this better than me. And maybe I'll get back to you on this part. Maybe I should consult a TCM doctor before answering this.
Okay. She also asked, what type of 30 minutes activities is suitable for an indoor pet?
Oh, for an indoor pet. Okay. There are actually many dog dog right or cat. Sorry.
Dog, she asked.
Oh, dog. Okay. There are actually many high tech. Don't have to be high tech lah, but you can DIY some maybe treat dispenser balls that you can put treats inside. Then they'll be chasing after this ball like for 30 minutes. You must put the most favorited treats in the ball or the toy for them to chase after it to increase their activity, especially in senior pets. Yeah.
Okay. That's for a cat. If
Mm-hmm.
how about
For cats, it's easy. They'll just chase after everything, like a cat toy, maybe a teaser, a cat teaser that you can time it like 30 minutes. They might chase after the cat toy or maybe hiding their favorite treats. They'll be searching all around. The house to increase their activities. Yeah, that's what I
Great.
do lah.
Okay. There's another question from Miss Che Ann. She asked if dog urine 3 times a day is considered normal. The urine is pure yellow.
Okay, so thanks for your question. So I think for urination part, it is highly related to the habit of the cats, whether it is using a litter box or how frequent is they are produce urinating, and it is also highly related to the water intake, meaning if they take a lot of water, then they will be urinating much more than the other cats. But if the urination, the color is normal, then I think it shouldn't be a very big problem. And another thing to take note is you must always observe the urination, meaning the process of urination, whether is they is there any straining or difficulty that we might suspect there will be obstruction or things like that. So I think it's mainly based on, different animals, they will have different habits and frequency in urination. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Okay.
Thank you so much, viewers, for your
Thank you,
questions.
Heather. Okay.
Keep them coming. Thank you. So next up, we have Mr. Ang Kyong with his topic on the beauty of raw feeding. Mr. Ang?
Oh, actually, the topic is actually the myth and facts about raw feeding.
Okay.
We are talking about the question about.
No worries.
Okay, basically, I'm Ang. I'm the founder of Coco and Joe. So today we're going to talk about the facts and myths and facts about raw feeding, because there is a very misunderstood uh, range of diet in dogs and cats. So let me go into it. Okay, one moment. Hey, how come my slide is not moving? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there are many different types of food, dog food and cat food in the market. It can be kibble, can be canned food, and can be other food. One moment, my slide is having some problem. One moment, sorry. Okay, in the market. So basically, there are canned food, cooked food, kibbles, and etc. But today we are going to talk about raw food, because it's the food that not many people are familiar with. Okay, even the how I got into this is because I had a dog with severe skin problem. That's how I got into it about 17 years ago, and it took me a long time to accept this food. It's not so easy, because my background is in medical technology. I work in labs, and then we grow bacteria, and then I'm very particular about bacteria. I wash my hands a lot, so I am very scared of raw feeding in the beginning. So it took me some time to get used to it. So I'm sure that it will take some time for a lot of people to get used to raw feeding. So even raw feeding, they are divided into many categories. So there are people that go for primal raw feeding, but today we are going for is actually about bath diet. So this bath diet originally, it stands for bone and raw food. And why is it bone? Because if you see a molar and a premolar of a dog, it's for crushing bone. So they need the nutrients from the bone, like for example, glucosamine is from the bone, and it will help the joint of the dog. And also if you have like collagen, that will help with the skin and coat of a dog. So, or the minerals that will help with the bodily function of a dog. So subsequently, it was changed to biologically appropriate raw food, because the word bone is a bit scary. So it changed to biologically appropriate raw food. So this bath diet is actually started by a vet in Australia. His name is Ian Billinghurst, and he advocates of feeding, for example, meaty bone with a wide variety of vegetables, eggs, and etc. So this is how it forms a bath diet. The theory is based on, because wolves are hunters and they are related to dogs, and wolves are eating raw and dogs should be eating raw also. And it shouldn't be just meat, it should be meat, bone, and also a whole animal. That means if wolf go hunting, it probably eat a whole animal instead of just like one part of the animal. So, and also they eat a half digested grass from a deer's stomach, and they may pick berries, in autumns and all that. So raw diet comes naturally to wolves, and dogs should be able to eat raw diet. So the first myth probably we get a lot of question about is this: will my dog be more aggressive if they are on raw diet? And this is probably the question we are asked a lot. Basically, it doesn't, because raw food is just a natural dog food to dogs. The aggressiveness is nothing to do with the food. It has to do with the temperament and how you raise the dog. If let's say the dog is on the street and has never been socialized, or he has to fight for his food, then he'll be more aggressive over food. Whereas the dogs that are socialized, are taken care properly, and they shouldn't have any problem with like become aggressive because of raw food. Having said that, because I have 25 dogs at home, and then I've not eaten by any dog yet, so shouldn't be a problem if you feed them raw food. I mean, I've been feeding for 17 years, so I'm still alive, so this shouldn't be a problem at all. Okay, then another thing I always say is that if you feed a tiger cat biscuit, will will the tiger be less aggressive? It will not be, because tiger are aggressive in the first place. So that means food will not change the temperament or the original behavior. Most important is the training and the socializing of your dog, and raw food doesn't alter the temperament of the dog. And then another question we are asked The second biggest question probably is the poo. Just now we talked about poo. Here we are talking about poo again. A lot of people think that raw feeding poo is actually smelly, very unmanageable. It will be going to be terrible, but it's actually different from a lot of people. What a lot of people are thinking, because bath diet poo is actually smaller, less smelly, drier, and more solid. And raw food is a very natural way for feeding cats and dogs, and it is easier to manage. For example, if you have a cat and it's on raw diet, it's less smelly in your apartment and it's easy to clean up, and also it will use less sand in the process. And cats and dogs can digest raw food easily, and it comes naturally to them. And raw food contains natural enzymes to help with the digestion, so it's less stressful to the body if compared to other food, processed food. This is actually raw food it contains a lot of natural enzymes to help with the digestion. Bath diet doesn't contain gluten, filler, or other starch that may contribute to a bigger poo. So bath diet poo is actually generally smaller, less smelly, and more solid. And this is the question about bacteria and parasite. This is like the thing that haunted me a lot when I first started feeding raw diet, because thinking about the bacteria that is in the meat, and then I'm feeding to the dogs, where that my dog die from it, and etc. And also the part of parasites. So the anatomy of a dog, actually, if they have the digestive tract is shorter, is for digesting raw food easier, or it will not. And then also the stomach acid is very strong. It will kill off live bacteria. And also the premolar and molar, just like I talking about premolar and molar, they are for crushing bone. So the whole system is for raw food. So they basically are raw eaters. And if you see cats, the tongue is for licking up the meat from a bone. So they are carnivores. So their system are able to handle raw food. But the most important thing is the freshness of the product. For example, humans get a lot of food poisoning, but we are eating cooked food. Why are we still getting food poisoning? It's because the food is contaminated, and then the bacteria start to grow. Toxin is there. Even you cook it, the toxin will be still there. Even the bacteria died already, but the toxin is still there, and then we may get food poisoning. So freshness is very important when you're preparing raw food for dogs. And freezing, for example, we freeze them at below -20 to kill off live bacteria and parasites. Now, of course, people will be worrying about parasites. You just have to deworm as per normal. That means every 3 months for adults, every month for puppies below 6 months, and above 6 months every 3 months. It's fine. Because why? A lot of people think that raw food contain worms. Freezing actually kill off any live worms. The only thing we are worried about is if your dog got worms. And raw food is actually a natural food to dog. The worms also. So the worms may take advantage of the raw food and get bigger. So we suggest that every dog owner should deworm the dog every 3 months as per recommended. And another question is about raw food is not nutritious enough. It is not nutritious enough if it's made wrongly. That means different ingredients you put in. You have put in a lot of ingredients. It's not just like a chicken breast. I've seen owners giving just chicken breast and they think that it's raw food, or just a piece of beef and then they think it's raw food. And they may not contain all the nutrients, and they may have issues in the long run. So actually, it's a whole food concept. If you see a wolf go hunting, they probably eat a whole prey, including the bone, intestine, the organ, and skin, hair, etc. So a concept is a bit like if you give yourself a vitamin C, or you eat a whole orange. Whole orange may contain vitamin C and plus a lot of other nutrients. So it's a whole food concept when you're talking about raw feeding. And then we have to get nutritional testing on the products. That means you really need to go and test your, for example, for cats, we need to test the taurine level. And then for dogs, all the protein fats, you need to test for that also. And calcium phosphorus ratio. We tested for calcium and phosphorus ratio, and this is very important. If the phosphorus is high and the calcium is low, your dog may have issue with kidney in the long run, and also they may have other skin issue in the long run. So if you're fed meat alone, probably the phosphorus is high, but there is no minerals to balance it. But ours is tested. We tested the calcium phosphorus ratio. And then the another thing is the freshness of ingredient. If the ingredients is not fresh, the nutrition level is also lower. That means it's compromised. And I just want to say about meat alone doesn't work, because we have people tell us that they feed only meat, and then for a long time, and then it doesn't work because it's raw food doesn't work. It's not that. Not all raw food are made equal. That means you need to know the way you prepare it, and the correct amount of things you put in, and you have to do a lot of research. This question happened to me about 10 years back. I have a vet that told me he has got a customer that has got a dog with severe skin problem. He probably want to try raw. She knows that I use raw foods. So I started writing down the recipe for her in the clinic with her. Halfway through the thing, and then she said, I don't think my customer will be able to do, because you need to get fresh ingredients. You need to go and get freshly killed chicken, slaughtered chicken. It shouldn't be something from the hypermarket. And then it should be, you should need to handle every part correctly. That means you need to include the bone, etc. The veggie, you need to have different color veggies. And then you have to include whole eggs, and then certain other nutrients. And then if you need to supplement, you need to supplement. If your dog is not doing well, you need to supplement. So you need to know what situation your dog is. You shouldn't be just like giving a piece of meat and that's it. So you need to know the whole thing if you want preparing it yourself. So okay, I have the veggie parts. And about the taurine, story of taurine. In the 80s, a lot of cats died because they didn't know taurine is very important in cats. So taurine actually only available, or is available higher in raw food. If once you cook it or it's made into other products, it disappears. So modern days cat food, actually they add in a lot of taurine to make it, to make the cat able to survive on the food. Because without taurine, cats cannot survive. Because cat has 11 essential amino acid that they cannot synthesize. They need to get it from the food. So taurine is one of the very important thing in a cat's diet. So the moral of the story is raw food actually provide all this essential amino acid to cats and dogs. So it's how you make it happen and feed your dog. So it's a bit hard to prepare yourself sometime. That's why we are here to provide the products. And then can puppies or kitten take raw diet? Because this is the question. A lot of people are so scared of giving raw diet to their dogs. And then you're talking about puppies, kitten. They are so young. Should I give them raw food or not? Will they die from it? So you're something like you question yourself all the time. But because I've been rescuing kittens and dogs, and then that's how I end up with so many. And we started them on raw food at 4 weeks old. We don't wait until they are finished vaccination, because sometimes we are nursing them with milk. It's a lot of work to feed them milk and all that, and then they don't have mother. And then by 4 weeks old, 4 weeks and 5 weeks old, we change them to raw diet, and they are okay with that. You can start changing to raw diet when they are weaning. And however, you need to deworm first. Because you see, puppies, they have not gone out, but why do they have worms? They probably get it from the mother, or during the process, but not from outdoor. But they may get it from the mother, and then they may have worms. So you need to deworm first before you start feeding raw, because the worms of a puppy may take advantage of the raw feeding and they get bigger. So I always say that you have to deworm like 2, 4, 6, 8. when they are puppies, weeks, I mean. So the thing is, Wolf doesn't make special dog food for their puppies, so they are on raw also. So there is no reason why puppies and kittens should be on raw, and cats will catch small prey and bring it back to the kittens to eat and etc. So most important for puppies is the calcium phosphorus ratio. If the calcium phosphorus ratio is off, then the bone formation and all that may be affected. Of course, the genetic is one of it, but the calcium phosphorus ratio can affect the whole bone formation. Because I have some dogs that we go for competition, they have to have very good bones, and then we raise them on raw, and then you don't see their feet turning side, or they are always very good. How much to give? For adults, it's actually between 2 to 4% of the body weight per day. So most of them are on 3% of the body weight per day. So for example, you have a 5 kg dog, give them about 150 grams a day. That's all. And then puppy is about 6% of the body weight per day. A very young puppy, let's say they are 4 weeks old, they may be a bit higher than the ratio of 6%. But when they reach about 10 months to 1 year old, especially when they start to have like some fussy, they don't have appetite, you have to reduce the food to adult percentage, which is 2 to 4%, but most adults are on 3% of the body weight per day. Then this is a very important question. Garlic is dangerous to dogs, because we have been feeding garlic to our own dogs for a long time. The oldest now is actually 17 years. So the garlic is actually not dangerous if you are giving them correct amount. So it's only 5 grams per kg of dog that you should give. So for example, if you have a husky that's 25 kg, so you shouldn't be giving them more than 125 grams of garlic, which is a lot. It's not possible to give a husky 125 grams of garlic per day. So a small amount is good. And garlic has got anti-inflammation or antimicrobial properties that may help the body and also keep the food fresh. And it's actually a very important part of a buff diet. And rarely a dog can overdose on garlic. When I was younger, we used to have garlic supplement on shelves of a vet's clinic. Always had garlic something, garlic. People have been feeding garlics to dogs and they never have any problem. Just recently, a lot of this garlic issue has come out, and a lot of people think garlic can kill the dog. Small amount is totally fine. Then the benefit of feeding raw, actually, first thing is the healthier skin and coat, and help to build a stronger immune system, and it's better digestion and absorption because of the enzyme that are available in raw food, and healthier teeth and breath because it doesn't stick on the teeth. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be brushing. You still need to brush your dog's teeth, and you need to get them to have get the teeth checked by a vet. And so the stool volume is lesser and less smelly, and easier to maintain body weight. For example, if you have a 5 kg dog that is overweight, and then you are feeding 150 grams, you can actually go 125 grams. So it can control the weight a bit, and it's so easy to maintain the weight because ours is, raw food is totally starch-free, no gluten, so no corn, so it's easier to control the body weight. So this is the whole presentation, and I hope I'm sharing enough information about raw feeding. So okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ang. You've got a lot of questions, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask. Our viewer Eli is asking: is feeding dog raw better than kid?
Well, I cannot be talking about that because it's a bit of conflict of interest in talking about it. That's why I didn't even put my brand name out on the slide. So it's, as I say, it's a natural way of feeding. You need to know about it. You need to do your research before you jump into it. Of course, I would advocate raw feeding, but I cannot tell you that which is better. I know also about buff diet. It's not a miracle drug. That means you cannot take it like 3 days, you become like better, your skin become better. And a lot of them think that way, like I feed my dogs raw for 1 week, the skin will be totally cured. It shouldn't be that way. And then this is precisely why a lot of vets are scared about raw feeding, because certain owner will go and say, oh, I see this, it will be better in 2 days, 3 days, then they don't go and see the vets anymore. Then they might miss something, So we want to work with, they should be consulting the vets also, shouldn't be like just like thinking like this will cure everything. But I'm an advocate for raw, and then as I say, I have 35 dogs and
Raw.
14 cats, so they are 100% on raw. So I'm still here, so I mean it shouldn't have any problem.
Okay, another question from Fanny Liu. She asked, can it only be vegetables
You cannot just
/ egg only?
the vegetable diet. As I said just now about the essential amino acid, cats has 11 essential amino acid, dogs has 10 essential amino acid that they cannot get from just vegetables, because dogs has no ability to break down cellulose. It's just the veggie cellulose, unless and then the essential amino acid is not that high in vegetables. There are things that you need to get it from meat and or or the bone and livers or organ meat, and it's not just veggie alone. And this is the scary part, because we have people say that I feed my dogs vegetarian. I always get scared because there are certain essential amino acids that are not in veggies, and then you can kill your dog or cats that way. So you need to really if you're feeding that, you might as well go back to your original food that has probably everything inside or something inside than just vegetables.
Great. Another question. So Sharon IR, she mentions she has a puppy. He loves to bite things, so they gave him cooked lamb shank bone. But someone told them that was bad. She said she was advised to give them uncooked bones instead.
Yes.
And she says by giving them raw food, I think you've explained this. Won't it carry bacteria? Yeah.
Okay. What you do about lamb shank, right? You can freeze it first to reduce the load, the bacterial load, and then the dog stomach acid can actually take care of residue. But the most important is you go and get your lamb shank. Make sure you get it from a fresh supplier. That means it shouldn't be like on the shelf for 3 days already. It should be like very well frozen, and then you feed it to your puppies and let them chew on it. Cooked bone is definitely dangerous. Definitely dangerous. The whole idea about this buff diet, why is it raw, is because of the bone. They need the minerals from the bone and the nutrients from the bone, but if you give them cooked bone, they have problems digesting it, and they have problem pooping it, out the cooked bone. So that's why you need it raw, definitely.
Okay, yeah. Another question is Pearl Patricia from Philippines, and she's asking, what can you say about mixing wet dog cat food with rice? What other options can you recommend if the owner has limited budget for the feeding of the pets?
Okay. Oh, actually, if you, let's say you're doing it yourself, you don't really need to. For cats and dogs, actually, if you can get a whole chicken or even neck of a chicken, to feed to a cat. Is totally need to. For example, dogs have a requirement for certain veggies, so you need to add different color veggie to supplement it. Or if you don't, then you need to have like real supplement. Maybe you can get for vitamin. So for all the supplement you need to get in. It shouldn't be just like meat alone. But if let's say you're talking about cats, they can be on more meat, and then they don't need that much vegetables. The vegetables is only 5%. You don't need to go above that. And then some cats can be on pure meat just with certain minerals is fine, because they are really how to say, they are real carnivore. They need meat more than their dogs. Dogs can digest a bit of, can eat a bit of vegetables, but
And
cats,
Mr. Ang, Mr. Ang, does BARF apply to different types of dog breeds and cat breeds?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Can you feed it to different kind of dog and cat breeds?
Oh yeah. Any breeds,
Yeah.
and but for example, the different requirement. A husky, for example, it will eat less food. if compared to a golden retriever. If let's say a 25 kg husky will eat less than a 25 kg golden. It's by nature the breed husky, they are bred to work a long time with very little food. So they are bred to be like that. So a lot of husky are actually they are not exercised enough. First thing. Second is in a weather that is a bit hot, so they eat less than a 25 kg golden retriever. So the amount of
Okay.
maybe vary between breeds. So you need to adjust. So for example, a pug may get overweight by eating a same amount of food as a Shih Tzu that are of same weight. So pug you may need to reduce a bit of the food because they can get fat easier compared to other breeds. So you need to know the breeds. Because I was experimenting with this for over 17 years, so I know a lot of these little things. Then, but having said that, in general, dogs should be on about 3% of the body weight, and then you can go up and down as you go. But remember to deworm your dog regularly.
There's another question. Is it okay to feed dogs dehydrated or air-dried pork? I have heard that the parasites that exist in pork may be dangerous to the dogs as well as humans, such as poke ears or dehydrated trees.
Yeah. Okay, for pork, is that why we don't use pork in our recipes? Because pork may carry trichinosis or they may carry pork tapeworm that cannot die or cannot kill it off by freezing. Dehydration, you may be able to kill it. But freezing, they may be able to survive freezing. But dehydration, they may be able to take care of it. But I try not to give raw pork to dogs because you are not sure. Unless the pork came from Australia where they are sure that they are pork tapeworm free, then you can give it to your dogs. Australia
Okay.
pigs are safer.
The
Definitely
Australian
not
pigs.
wild boar.
Okay.
Definitely not wild boar and all that. It's actually very dangerous.
Okay, and I think I'll take a last question from N Yuan. I did give my dog barf before, but after 6 months, she lost her interest and stopped eating when I gave her. Any reason? The preparation method is same since day one.
Depends on the amount of food you give. For example, if you have a puppy, I need to ask her whether it's a puppy or not, because the puppy, when they reach adulthood, they eat less than percentage than when they are puppies. They eat less. Then also, we never had that issue in our house because I give them only 5 minutes to finish the food. They are only allowed 5 minutes. If not, they have to wait until tonight. So in the morning, they are given 5 minutes, and then
So-
if they don't finish, they have to wait until evening. So I never have any problem with that. Maybe because I have so many, so they don't get to pamper, each one that way. But I'm just joking. But but important thing is you have to check your dog whether your dog is sick or not, or any other issue, whether you deworm your dog. Like just now, Dr. Liu was talking about the health status of the dog. If your dog not eating, it may be some other issue. Maybe it's not because of your food. And then a lot of owners don't deworm their dogs, and then they don't, the only thing that the dog should be dewormed once a year when you go for vaccination. That is totally wrong for our climate, our situation. So you need to get a vet check if, let's say, you think that it's losing appetite, or it could be caused by a dog that is in season, not spayed. When in season, they don't have appetite at all, and then also, if they're in my house, if they are sick, they don't eat. That's why immediately we can pick it up. That means they have to go to vet now. So a dog shouldn't have no appetite. And another reason is they are given a lot of treats. So for example, if a Shih Tzu that is 5 kg, that needs only about 150 grams of our food, raw food okay. And then they are given a dehydrated chicken that is 10 gram. 10 gram. Original weight is actually 30 gram. So you are giving her 180 gram food a day, actually. So it's a bit too much. You see, when you give that piece of chicken to a husky or a golden retriever, you feel it that way. But you give it to a smaller dog, it's a lot of food. Then they will have no appetite to eat other food.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ang. I think definitely.
Sorry, I talk too much.
No. We love that. Thank you so much. I'll keep some of the questions for later on if we do have time. Now, just finishing up our last topic for the evening will be about dog heat stroke by Dr. Lee YY. Dr. Lee?
Hi, everyone. Can I get my slide off? Yeah, I'm sorry, Hida. We also changed our topic into another one because we realized that pet owners sometimes, like Dr. NG say, you probably don't know even what heat stroke is because you don't even know what a normal temperature is. So today the main thing here is to tell you what Pet Medic is doing because as a vet for more than 16 years, we see pets owner that is really educated, and there are some pets owner that have like pets for 10, 15 years and do not really know what's going on because and then they come to the vet too late. So we Pet Medic take it to another level because we think the pet parents not only becoming a responsible pet owner anymore because you are the pet parent, because they are your children. And because of that, and you are the only one they have, so they depend on you. So today there will be a lot of things that I'm going to tell you guys that might challenge you, that you might not like to listen anyway, but I will still, go on and challenge you on that because at the end of the day, you probably is one of the good pet parent because you signed up for this seminar, right? Okay, so let us see. So knowledge is power. What do we mean by knowledge is power? Because how many times that you anticipate an emergency? Because most of the time you probably do not know that your pet is not well until it's too late. So when we say knowledge is power means when you know more about your pet, what is normal about your pet, when your pet is getting slightly abnormal, you will know, and then you will know what to do and go to the vet is earlier. As a vet that has been practicing for clinically for this long, we realize that when we pick up kidney disease very early, we have kidney disease dog that actually survive or maintain throughout maybe more than 5, 6, 7, 8 years. But most of the time that you all have kidney disease dog, that you'll be moaning and say that, it's going to die in the next week. So which one do you want to be, right? So like Dr. NG say, you probably want to, you also probably want to have a pet thermometer at home because you want to know whether they are fever or not. All right. As a parent, as a human parent, what we'll do is when we see that our children are, having fever, what do? We measure first whether they really have fever using a thermometer. And then when we realize that, oh, yeah, it's having a fever, then we bring them to the vet. So what do a normal Malaysian pet parent do? Right? You probably do not know that your pet is having fever until the pet is like flat out as in lying down, not moving much, didn't eat for 3 days. And then you think, well, I think probably my dog is not well. And then you go to the vet. So come back to this fever or not, like what Dr. NG has told you, anything more than 39.5, 40 degree, we were talking about this hypothermia, which is a fever. It could be either infectious fever or it can be a heat stroke, because it is a very hot weather here in Malaysia, so we deal with a lot of heat stroke. I ask you one question. If you guys are now on a Friday afternoon, you are with your pet in your car, all right? It's 3:45 now, and the bank closes at 4 o'clock, and you really need to go to the bank. Really need to go to the bank. You have no choice, but you really need to go to the bank. What do you do? What do you do when you really urgently need to go to the bank?
And anyone?
Whatever your answer is. Any answer?
No, nobody.
Nobody want to answer me. No, nobody. Do you drive? Do you drive to the bank? Keep your pet in the car, roll down a little bit of window, and then go into the bank. I'm gonna just be that 5-10 minutes, and then I'll be up. I know. Okay. If there's no answer, it's fine. But I will want to tell you, as a good pet parent, you do not do that. You do not leave your pet in the car, even for 2 minutes. I mean, with not the engine. Most of the time you'll be off. You switch off the engine because you're going to the bank. No one's in the car anymore, right? Leaving the pet in the car is just like leaving your 2 months old baby in the car for 10 minutes. That's what it is. So I really need you all to reflect and look at how you see your pet as your own children. Okay? So now, I think Dr. Angie has actually taught you on how to take the body temperature, which is very good. So Doc, you do the same. The only thing I would want to add is when you put in the thermometer, when you put in this way the thermometer, put it at the side, because that's where the rectum is. Then you will really get the body temperature instead of the temperature of your poo, your dog's poo or your cat's poo. Okay, so put it at the side. So then you know that it is having a fever. So most of the time, people will be like 41 degree. What do you do? So most of the time, people will be rushing them to the clinic, which is the right thing to do. But if you know a simple step of helping them to lower down their body temperature as you are going to the clinic, which is probably about 20 minutes to half an hour from where you are, then it will be really life-saving. Because if a pet that is on 41 degree Celsius that is in your car, that you want to go to the vet, that 20 minutes when you go there, your pet might not survive. Sometimes half an hour, sometimes an hour. Sometimes when you found your dog lying down, because people like to watch their dog and leave it out at the house to dry, and that's the time that when you found them half an hour later, they're dying lying down. So to cool them down within that period of time when you're sending to the vet is really essential. That's the reason why you need to know how to reduce the heat. So I'll share a tips or two now because of time concern. If you have alcohol, you can actually wet the alcohol and put it on the paw and the ear pinna, and then at the inside of the thigh. Okay, that's where the main blood vessels is. Okay, and then, or you can actually splash them with water, or fan them, but do not cover them with a wet towel, because that traps the heat instead of releasing the heat. Everyone would think that like I have a wet towel, so wet towel is supposed to release heat, but it's not. And then when you know that they are having fever, the saddest thing is that you'll probably start Googling, looking into different resources, listening to all these experienced people. What is this experienced people would do? They will tell you what kind of medication, what kind of antibiotics, what kind of fever medication to use. I'm sorry, when I talk about this, I'm very angry. My emotion gets a little bit more because we have many, many, many pets that die of overdosing of medication. Of these experienced people that, oh, he has been rescuing dogs for that many, many years. But if you yourself is not equipped with all this knowledge, go find out. You you don't even need to like come to our class. You can go on real, medical website or even a vet website that is available to actually find out what can give and what cannot give. But do not give any medication when your dog is having fever. I'm not going to tell what medication because that will lead you to another thing. So I'm not going to tell you what you shouldn't give, but you shouldn't give any medication when your dog is on fever. Or having fever or having heat stroke. So whatever that I taught you, the tips that I taught you to reduce the heat is to actually help them to reduce the body heat before they go to the vet. You still need to take them to your vet because then they will give you a proper reason or find out the proper reason or real reason or proper diagnosis why your dog is having a fever. It could be most of the time infectious. Then they have to take care of the infection. If it is a heat stroke, they will find a way to reduce the body heat and all that, right? Okay. So many of them come in overdosing. And then what we'll do is then we'll have to spend money on blood tests because we want to know how bad they are. You will be spending hundreds of ringgit just to get the blood test done to tell yourself that you're overdosing your dog, that the liver and kidney are all damaged. And then you probably have to spend a lot more money just to try to save them for the few days, and they don't survive and they die. I'm sorry to put this thing and you think that I'm scaring you, but it is not. This is the fact that we see day in and day out, day in and day out. People would just go to the pharmacy, and I do not know why pharmacy sometimes they could able to get hold of all these drugs, antibiotic and all different kind of fever medication, over the counter and give it to their pet with like 10, 20 times of overdose, even with puppies and kittens. All right. So this is something that we really need to put the emphasis on. And you will really hate vets because when you come to the vet, most of the time the vet will be telling you, oh, your dog is so sick. They're probably going to die. We're probably going to not able to do much. And just to listen to all this and pay a big bill, you hate the vets. I want you to rethink about it. How long has this been going on and you don't realize it? And what you can do there and then, like a choking case. What can you do like a choking case or allergy case? What can you do then just to make sure the airway is not blocked before you go to the vet? When the airway is blocked, sometimes in the groomer's place, they drown because they're doing spa, like happily doing spa, or go for swimming and then they drown. And the first thing they do is, what do you do? I'm very impressed that these groomers that has attended our class long ago. At that point of time, we still don't have this company. But what they do is they remember what we taught about how to give, mouth to nose breathing. And that dog takes about 15 to 20 minutes to reach our clinic. That dog wasn't breathing, in the first place when they scoop it out. The tongue is all purple. And because of what they do in the journey of coming to the clinic, that dog survived. They stay in the clinic for about a week to 10 days to treat pneumonia. And at the end of the day, that dog survived just because of that little small action of first aid that you apply. So do not be too late. Learn the things that you need to learn, everything from nutrition, from poisoning and all that, to take care of your pet because they only have you. So the knowledge that you learn, you have to keep practicing it. like a simple thing like bandaging and all that. You just have to keep practicing it so that when things happen, you don't want all these things to happen, emergency, but they come in without informing you. It's called an emergency. And why we call it first aid? It's because that's the first thing you will apply and you will do to save the dog's life or the cat's life or your pet's life. That's why we call first aid. If you know all this information and you don't practice it and you do not know it and you don't keep reminding yourself, when things happen, you don't know what to do. It doesn't call first aid anymore. It probably calls second, third, fifth aid. Okay, but that's the first aid that you're looking at. First aid in pets is very, very new in Malaysia. We're taking this program from US. Even though I'm a trained veterinarian, um, I'm qualified to actually, do all the first aid thing that we do. But why am I bothered taking this whole program is to make a proper syllabus to actually benefit our Malaysian pet owners. We have to help the pet owners to help the pets. It's just like how Dr. Ng and Mr. Ang says, the pet owner have to know what it is before they can help the pet, right? So I think I'm not sure whether we still have anything. Yeah, stop being an ignorant pet, and be their hero. So just a brief concept to tell you what we do in this steps of program that we do. Actually, the program that I told was just a 1 day, maybe 5-6 hour program. And this was what we did many years ago, from 6-7 years ago, when someone from the pet supply company wanted me to actually help to educate the pet owner, which that helps to save at least many pets. So, but we realized that because after the 1 day class, you totally forget what it is after a few months. You'll be lucky if you remember it more than 2 months. But after that, you actually forget. So what we do is we actually split it out into different programs. So you have a 2 days class to teach you how to do all the examination, because when they are very painful, how to handle them even before you touch them. Then an accident, they got heat and then they're very painful. How you actually help them to manage muzzle or whatever them before you actually do your treatment or do your first aid. And then we talk about all the other first aid, thing like poisoning, allergies and all that. And then the last thing, we'll do an on-site CPR. I insist not to teach CPR online because I need to teach a proper technique on how you want to do a CPR. And we need to also let you show me how you do it, or show the instructor how you do it. To actually, I'm the only instructor now anyway in Malaysia. So I'll be the one who actually need to see how you do it before we certify you as a pet first aider. And you can be one of these pet first aiders. Some people say, "Oh, doc, I'm so scared of taking exam and all that." Don't worry about it. Just go through all the thing. Well, don't get certified or certified. It doesn't really matter. The whole idea is to get yourself equipped when emergency hits you. All right. I think that's all from me.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Okay, so I'm jumping right into the questions. Ivy Ng asks, how many times a year does a dog get sick, if ever?
It could be many times. It could be none. It's a very difficult question to answer. It could be every week every month that the dog comes in with UTI, say for example. You can have a cat that get blocked every 2 months, and then at the end going for very expensive surgery. You can have a dog that get heat stroke this week and then get cured and get drowned the next week. You won't know. So it just can't really answer this question correctly, I think.
Okay, then moving on to Jess J, who asks, is it possible to buy a first aid kit in the vet or a clinic?
Now there's still no. I'm not sure whether other vets are selling it, but we are at the moment we're still not supplying it to vet. Maybe, well, it's a very good idea. Maybe we should. We only sell it in our own clinic, and then um, how to say, you can get it online. You can get it online. There are some pet shop that is asking us to actually how to say to buy from us as well. But anyway, do you know, other than buying from us, you can build your own first aid kit. You visit our website, and then we have this free first aid kit builder for you. You can actually build it on your own, to
Could
suit your
you,
needs.
sorry, could you explain again to the viewers how do you insert the thermometer properly so that you can check again for temperature?
Right. At the moment, I'm not sure. We probably have a thermometer here. But anyway, I mean, imagine this is the thermometer. This is the anus thermometer. Go all the way in. Then you see, this is how it looks. So you push it at the side. Push it at the side because here is all the poo-poo. This is where all the poo-poo is. You just put it at the side to touch on the mucous membrane. That will be fine.
Okay, I'm going to open up the questions for any of our speakers to answer, no problem. These are just random ones. I'll just pick a few. How can we know that dogs doesn't have enough nutrients or minerals? Is it when they eat grass or poo? By Sun YL.
I think this question is directed to me, I guess. So thanks for the question. Okay, my own dog, he also eats grass when we take him out for a dog walk or at a park. So I think it could be due to the habit, which is a bad habit, and it could be also a natural instinct that dogs, they can actually feel that they are lacking some minerals or any nutrients. So I wouldn't say that this is how to say, it is a habit or it is a deficiency. As long as you are feeding your dog or your pets with a correct balanced diet, so I think this shouldn't be
Thank
a
you so
problem
much.
that you should be
I
worried
think
about.
this question would be again for Mr. Ang by Eng Han Ni. He has a senior dog and he would like to know how much of food nutrition he needs for the senior dog, as currently it's a dry kibble.
Okay, for any dog, start with around 3%. But having said that, at a senior dog, you need time to transition. It cannot be like immediately. If you go immediately, they will have a lot of issues. Because the stomach acid or the stomach condition of a kibble fat dog is more alkaline, and then where else they need a more acidic stomach to digest raw food. So, for example, if you give them raw food, cold turkey today, your dog is going to have a rapid detoxification, and then you will have a diarrhea, vomiting, and then you probably need to go to the vet today if you feed them totally raw today. What you can do is slowly transition. Do not mix together with the kibble in the same meal. What you can do is actually give as a treat first, just to test it out whether it's okay or not in between meals. Eventually replace a meal and then slowly replace both meals. It shouldn't be going cold turkey. The oldest we have switched is actually 14 years old. So I'm confident in switching older dogs, but it needs a bit of time. It shouldn't be immediately. It has to be
Thank you so much. Dr. DYY, I believe this one's for you. In humans, when in doubt, we usually won't do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but just chest compressions, especially today. Can we perform that instead of in emergency situations?
We would do mouth to snout. Mouth to snout means mouth to nose. So you lie them down. It's mouth to snout to the nose. And then the way we compress is also very different from human. If you're a human first aider, don't use the same way as you do to dogs. Different sizes of dog will tell you where exactly the heart is and then where to press. Like a barrel-chested dog, like a bulldog, you probably need to lie them down. If you have a German Shepherd, a very deep-chested dog, position is lower. And then with a small dog like this, you probably, instead of doing this whole thing, we have to use a different way, like a cat as well. So most of the time, we have to take out the tongue and then blow right into the nose. So you hold it like that, and then you blow it into the nose. And then, I really urge you to learn the proper way. But if really any emergency happened that you need to do a mouth to snout, please do. Yeah, don't know how to tell you, but it's good to learn the proper way. But if you really can't, you just blow it in, and then you probably need to do like every 2 seconds once.
I think definitely to go on over to pet medic and maybe see
That's a
how
whole why we're doing it.
yeah, definitely. Last question for everyone. What is the symptoms of strokes on dogs, and how would feeding make it better, and maybe supplements to make it better on a stroke dog? What are the symptoms? Let's go with Dr. PYY first. What are the symptoms of a stroke dog?
Right. It's stroke in simple terms, meaning that's a hemorrhage in the brain. So it could be anything like a brain symptom. It can be as mild as just circling, walking in circle, or as bad as nystagmus. Nystagmus means the eyes moving without you knowing, because most of the time the eyelid is covered, so you have to hold up the eyelid to know that it's moving on nystagmus. And then some is as bad as seizuring as well. So it really depends on where you are. So before you even know that your dog is having stroke, you have to let your vet to check on whether the blood pressure is high, or whether it's a trauma, or whether it's a hit by car situation, that actually have this. Let's say it's an old dog, it could be not not a stroke. It could be a tumor or something else, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave the nutrition to Mr. Ang.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, I share my experience. I had a dog with this stroke before, and then that was many years ago. What happened is she suddenly becomes sluggish, very sluggish when it is, with the movement, and then it not able to go down the stairs properly. And then I thought she injured her legs. Then in a very short time, she started to go flat. That means totally not moving at all. So we actually had to what happened was she had a surgery that time when she had that. Just after the surgery, she has that stroke. Could be post surgery related because of the situation. I'm not sure what happened, but anyway, she just totally flat, and then it took us a while to realize what it is, and then we have to immediately go to the vet, and they get the blood thinner and all that. Vets you need the vets to do all this, to check your dog. You shouldn't be doing it by yourself. You need a vet to really check. And eventually we sent her for acupuncture, and then it took us half a year for her to walk, and then she's still around. She's 17 years old now. So I believe it can rebound, but you need to really take good care of it. And then also acupuncture may work, for a stroke case. And then because the dog,
you realize it first.
Wow.
yes, yeah, that's another thing. And then one more thing is a lot of endurance work, because she cannot turn. You have to turn her every hour, and then she cannot pull. You need to give edema, and then she cannot drink. You have to put water in, and then she had to hand feed her, to force feed her in a way, in many ways, that it's how she survived. We thought she is not going to survive because people suggested putting her to sleep because she's totally flat. But it took us half a year to see her moving again. So I mean, if she can do it, a lot of stroke dogs can improve. But you need to catch it early, and you need to send to the vet immediately. You shouldn't be waiting, you know, something like about the food thing, maybe for the what happened, this is what the real situation. Years ago, when we feed bulk diet, we don't grind. They are given a whole chunk of chicken to chew. We never grind it. Actually, it's because of this dog. We need to grind the meat. So this is how the bone. This is how we started grinding them, and this is how we make the products. Previously, we never thought of it like grinding. We just give them whole chunk. So because of her, we started to grind, and then able to feed her, force feed her. Because before we grind it, we started to give only ID or something like that. The canned food, because the only food that can go in is canned food. But subsequently, we tried grinding it, and then it works. But of course, it's not just the food. It's about the the way you take care, and then you need to know it fast, and then you need to send to the vet fast.
Dr. Angie?
Okay, so I think for my part, it comes in after the patient, the pet is stabilized. Already you have seen a vet and stabilized the body condition. Everything is already stabilized. So as a prevention and maintenance for the pets, we would suggest to give vitamins like vitamin B and D in order to support the recovery of the stroke. And also, there are also researchers that found out that the herbals contents like ashwagandha, like bilberry, moringa, things like that, it will help in the blood, improve the blood circulation. So it is especially important in the stroke patients that need this kind of supplementation in their food, in their diet, and so on, and also to prevent depression, which is very commonly seen in the stroke
Thank you
patients.
so much. I think I would love to thank all three of our speakers today. That was really awesome. Great sharing from everyone. Thank you so much, Coco and Joe, Mr. Ang Kiong, Dr. Eun Ji Liu from Veterinary Pet Care, and Dr. Lee YY from Pet Medic Malaysia. Thank you so much. And thank you all our viewers for coming on, joining and listening. Congratulations to all the lucky draw winners. All your lucky names will be posted on Facebook and on our website for 1 week. So you can see your name, email us, and we will get your special vouchers sent by email. Our part 2 is coming up. Part 2 is on the 16th of October, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we will have speaker once more, Dr. Lee YY from Pet Medic Malaysia, speaking in Mandarin about dog's heart rate, unless that's changed. Dr. Lee. We'll also be joined by Dr. Daniel Wilfred, a small animals veterinarian. He'll be speaking about gastrointestinal stasis, the silent killer of rabbits. So for all you animal lovers out there, small animals, definitely want to watch out for. And we will also be joined by Mr. Michael Kajak from Purina Regional Nutrition and Technical Education. He'll be speaking about understanding the pet food label and busting myths of ingredients used in pet food. I look forward to seeing you all once more again on the 16th of October. I am Heather Sue. Have a good night, stay safe, and be vigilant. Thank you so much.
Bye.